So I am super excited. I think I finally got my tea tasting to a nice mix, because I smelled this one, the 2006 NAN JIAN from, where is this from Yunnan Sourcing. And as soon as I smelled it, I was like, yes, because it was smoky. And I recall weeks ago going through all these raw pu'ers, and I was just like, oh, not another smoky one, you know. But it's been so long now. Oh man, I'm so looking forward to this one. The other thing that's really important to mention here, I'm trying to get it to focus. It's focusing on me and not on the tea. It's just not going to. Let's see if I tap. Nope, it doesn't work. So anyway, that's what the tea looks like. Very hard TUO. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. TUO, TUO, as you can see in the description. But anyway, so the whole purpose of me doing this tea testing is because I purchased an aged raw pu'er from Yunnan Sourcing, I believe last year, year before last, something like that. And I purchased an entire TUO, and I really love this tea. I gave it to a few people to try out. They loved it as well. I did find that cold brewing was the best way to go, but I'm going to, you know, to reevaluate that. So here is the TUO. Okay, now the problem is that I threw away the wrapper and the package, and I just have it in this Ziploc bag. So I have no clue what this is. I tried to find the old order, tried to see if maybe I logged into an account or something. I don't know, but wasn't able to find it. But after doing a lot of digging and reading, I really think that this NAN JIAN is very close to what I purchased recently. I did want to do just a little bit of research on this, and I meant to pull this up before I started the video, but you know how that goes. Let's see, because it's very possible that this is my tea. Like, it's very possible that this is my favorite thing, you know what I mean? So let's see here. It says, I'm gonna try not to read the tasting notes because I just don't want to give myself any ideas. So it is a spring harvest. It is a Samaka, so it's more of that kind of spicy Indian type thing. Let's see. Actually, it doesn't have a lot of information. Other than that, you know, they do talk a little bit about the tasting notes, but that's it. Otherwise, I don't really even know where this is from, other than Lin Kang or Lin Sang, which I think I've talked about before. So anyway, let's get to it. This is the cold brew. It is right away. Oh, this horrible lighting. Oh, so bad. I'm gonna have to fix that. I'll figure out something. But anyway, it is not very green. It's very very amber color, and you can see the leaves in there. Maybe you can't see the leaves in there. Are not at all coming apart. They're still very much solid nugs of tea in the bottom of this thing. It's going to take some time and quite a bit of agitation to get all these leaves broken up, but I'm going to go ahead and give this a really good shake and really agitate this thing and just make sure that we're getting everything out of it that we can. I anticipate this to be a fairly light brew, just kind of based on my experience with the previous tea that I showed you, but let's see what we get. And then, like I said, on the dry leaf, I didn't get much of a smell other than, like I said, just, you know, a bit of smokiness. Let me smell this previous tea and see what I get from it. See, this one is from, like I said, the one that I purchased a year or so ago. Didn't have any smoky smell at all. So again, you know, I don't know if it's the same tea or whatever, but it does seem fairly close. So I'm just gonna get a little bit of the tea in here. And I just know it's gonna be good. So I'm pouring a nice little bit. All right. Oh, that's nice. We got, that's weird. It's all coming, not like a solid pour. It's interesting. Okay. So, it's the liquor again, amber color. Not a lot of plant material. Fairly clean. A little bit of plant material, but not a lot. So, fairly clean brew. See what we get here. The smell of the liquor is really nice, but yeah, it's definitely for sure smoky. It is interesting. I'm trying to tease out what it is. So, at first start, I'll say this. I'm definitely getting smokiness, for sure, no question about it. There is something else there, though, but the flavor reminds me of a tea that if left out, and I'm talking about the cold brew, right? If left out, you're probably going to get a very sour flavor from that, which means that possibly this was not aged very well. The thing is, though, is that that little sour note is really nice because it gives it a bit of like sweetness, but like it's kind of like how sour cream at the end of the day is just sour milk, right? But it tastes good. Like, you know, like you want a little bit of that sourness. It's kind of sweet, sort of, right? So I do like it for that purpose. And then the aftertaste is really nice, and I can't come up with anything other than maybe lemon peel, you know. Yeah, so there's some flavor there. Can't quite make it out, but it is something of a sour note, so I'll say that. And then the aftertaste is definitely, I think I'm getting like a lemon peel. Decent tea. I'm gonna say right now, not my favorite. Not my favorite at all. But it's decent. It's not bad. You know, if I had this on a warm day, it would definitely quench my thirst. There isn't any bitterness at all, which I don't like. I prefer a little bit of bitterness, but at the same time, you know, what do you expect from 2006? I mean, any sort of bitterness that was there is long gone, right? But again, that slightly sour flavor, I think, is really throwing me off. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with very hot water. I am going to vigorously agitate this thing because I want to try to get those leaves opened up as much as possible on this initial rinse here. and then I'm going to hit it with really hot water again. And then for the second infusion, I'm going to get that water down to 175 degrees, and I'm going to do that on this video. I'm going to do that if possible. I got some cold water waiting here, and so I'm going to see if I can get the water down to 175 and then hit it again at 175 and see what happens. So that's about as much as I can stand. So let's get rid of that rinse. And I already know there's no point in me putting my nose to this because it's going to smell just like smoke until the heat dissipates. But let's see. Well, actually no. That's really interesting. So I don't get any smoke at all, which leads me to believe that the smokiness is really baked in. Typically, if it was like just smoked and the smokiness was kind of just on the outside, as soon as that hot water hits it, you would get that smoke immediately. So the fact that the cold brew is for sure smoky means that that smokiness is really baked in. So possibly it was smoked way back and the smokiness has just stayed and lingered in the tea, or maybe that smokiness is actually part of the actual tea leaf itself and not necessarily from any sort of external smoking. So on the wet leaf, I do get some of that lemon peel, and it is definitely lemon peel. It's not a lemon itself. And I smell basically like storage, like, you know, like I'm definitely smelling in like an old wet leaf. So again, storage may not have been great on this, but again, what do you expect from a 2006, right? I do recall though boasting about the one that I purchased before, I think being a 2008, because I think I remember saying something like, I'm drinking a 12-year-old pu'er or something to that regard. So I don't know. Let's see. All right, so again, I'm gonna hit this with really, really hot water, and I don't know what I'm gonna do about steeping time. I'm gonna make it fairly quick if this thing will work with me. And looks like I just dropped something. All right, so that was what, like maybe 7 seconds, not quite 10, so fairly quick. All right, and the leaves are definitely starting to open up. Let's get my finger in here so we can kind of break them apart. I really need a knife or fork or something. That's okay. Let's see. Yeah, because the middle of these things is still dry, so you're not really getting all of the flavor from this. So it's definitely going to take some time to get everything out of this. Show you what we're looking at. So sort of broken up, but most of it is still in this big nugget of tea. So let's see what kind of flavor we get out of this thing. Yeah, again, something like a lemon peel, and for the most part, just old wet leaf. All right, so first infusion, even though it was fairly quick, maybe not quick enough, really dark brew and really thick, a bit of plant material. I would say a bit more than average actually, and so So yeah, a bit more than average, but fairly clean brew though. Like I said, really thick, really dark, and that was just like 10 seconds. And so looking at it now this way, I'm gonna say there's a lot of plant material here, and so I expect that to remain the case until we get this entire thing opened up, for sure. So let's see what we get. Really interesting, because I'm not getting like any smokiness at all. Which is very surprising, because the cold brew, for sure, definitely is smoky. It's the same tea from the same bag. So the lemon peel is still there, but there's something else. There's something else there. It's definitely like citrusy. Definitely getting citrus. What did I? Can't really tell. Oh, the phone. Yeah, so definitely citrus. No smokiness, no bitterness. A tiny bit of bitterness. Tiny bit. It's even hard to kind of make out where it is, but it's somewhere near. Yeah, a tiny bit of bitterness. I'm gonna say it's on the back of the tongue, so it's obviously a bitterness from the storage. It's gotta be. Personally, it's definitely not the bitterness that I like. You know, I personally prefer the bitterness on the sides of my tongue, on the undersides, and then, you know, sometimes the middle part of my tongue is good too, but when it hits the back of my tongue, it's like, it's not great bitterness, right? So, okay. And I'm gonna leave the bulk of the plant material at the bottom there. All right, let's see what our water temperature is. Let's see if we can make this happen on this video. If not, then I'll continue to taste and test and record again. So wow, actually did good. So I got this thing at 150, so I'm actually gonna turn it back on for a second and see if we can get it right at like 170. 160 is not bad either. Now that all the heat is gone, I'm getting a little bit of smokiness on the wet leaf. Actually, a lot. So yeah, either the smokiness is there because it was so smoky from the beginning, and so now the smokiness is just deep down inside the leaf, or it's actually a characteristic of the leaf. I have to imagine though, so when I first smelled it, I did say that I smelled storage, right? So of course, storage is going to be the first thing you smell because that's what was put onto the leaf over the course of, what, 16 years, which is crazy to think of. And now that the heat has dissipated and the wet leaf has really settled, now you're getting the second layer of aroma, which I imagine was the first level of aroma, you know, 10, 15 years ago, which is the smoke. And so I am really interested to see if, in fact, this tea continues to change with steepings. Okay, so we're at 175, so that's perfect. I'm really curious to see if this tea continues to change as the leaves open up and as we steep this more and more. Now, again, I'm gonna have to really play around with steeping times. I'm gonna do this one pretty quick. And my goodness, this is a dark liquor. So this tea obviously has quite a lot to give. Again, lots and lots of plant material here. Really thick, dark. I think in the past I've said cognac, but this is more than that. This is more amber, I guess, because it's sort of red, almost orange, actually. Yeah, definitely, almost orange. It's definitely a different thing, for sure. And some of it, I'm sure, is the lighting as well. All right, see what we get here. Still there. Still sour. I think I mean, I don't know what else to say. Nothing has changed much from 200-degree water to 175. So I'll continue to let this water cool and continue with the steepings and see if anything changes. But I'm still getting the same thing. There's definitely, for sure, a sour note. Hardly any bitterness at all. The bitterness is starting to change a bit. It is hitting the sides of my tongue, which is really good. I really like that. I'll say right away that this is not a tea that I will give to someone brand new to tea. Not at all. This is also not a tea that I will try to impress my tea friends with. And it's going to take me some time with this tea to really figure it out and make sure that my thoughts on it are correct. But I have a really good feeling that there are storage issues with this tea because I don't think that sourness is necessarily a characteristic of the tea, but more so of storage. And so what I'm going to do is, with this one, I'm going to purposely leave out that cold brew to see if the liquor transforms and changes into anything. I'm going to keep drinking the hot brew tonight because it's a decent tea. I don't quite, not really feeling anything from this. Again, that's to be expected from such an old tea. But like most, aged raw pu'ers, it's very smooth, very easy drinking. It's flavorful, and it's what you want from a raw pu'er. And I will say that this one is interesting because of the smokiness that you get in the cold brew and not the hot brew. So interesting, because I don't think that's ever happened before. So anyway, 2006 NAN JIAN. Also too, I said this before, but I'll say it again just to reiterate. I am not discussing price in these videos. that is something that I think I will discuss at a later date when I really narrow down my choice for this aged raw pu'er, because hey, if this thing is priced at, you know, $20 a cake or $20 a TUO, then all of a sudden you're like, you know what? At $20, no, this ain't bad, you know? At the same time, if it's $40 a TUO, then it's like, okay, well, wait a minute now. What are we doing here, right? So, anyway, that's it. From me to you, holla.